It's a good morning, and happy Thursday. It's a beautiful morning God has given to us, and so we choose to rejoice and be glad in it. As I mentioned earlier, Thursday, we get to talk about family and health. And today we are so much honored because we want to talk about a very interesting, we want to talk on a very interesting topic that most people maybe have not heard about it. Now, want to get to understand the legalities of marriage. You know, you're there and maybe you're not yet married, or you're there, you're married. Do you know your roles according to the law? What is your role as a wife according to the law? What is your role as a husband according to the law? We've been having those sessions with the different counselors who've been telling us, and also preachers of the word who've been telling us, you know, as a married woman, this is what God desires. Sasa tunataka tujue hata kwa katiba ya Kenya, what is your role as well. Also want to get to understand what is needed for you as you get to prepare. Maybe you're there, you're a young person, you will one day get married. So what is needed so that you can be fully jina lako, as people are saying, this is Mrs., this is the wife to this, legally. What is this legal way of being married? And so we have in studio with us, you're so glad and so privileged to have Kennedy Makomere Wambi. Oh my God, I just hope I've said it right.
You've tried.
I have tried. Anyway, he is an advocate of the High Court that is from 2006 till date, and also he is a reverend at the Fountain of Grace Chapel. He runs a farm that is Wambi company from 008, and he is also a motivational speaker, and he is married to a lady, and yes, with 4 kids, 2 boys and 2 girls, and yeah, that's what we'll be talking about, the legalities of marriage. Good morning.
Morning.
I first have to apologize for that. My tongue has done the thing.
No, but you've tried, because most people always struggle mentioning that name.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me stick to Kennedy. Allow me to
you can stick to Kennedy, or simplicity you can stick to Ken.
Or to Ken.
It's more easier.
Awesome.
Yes.
Or the way I actually have saved you, Lawyer Ken.
That's more easier.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So karibu sana Mizpah Tv. We are honored to have you today.
I'm also honored, and I really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank God.
Awesome.
Yes.
And so today I want to talk about the legalities of marriage. And if someone gets to hear that name, maybe they're like, oh, hey, hiyo ni kitu nitaenda kotini ku make sure nimealign vitu, ama what does it basically mean?
No, basically, most people do not know that anything we do in the country has a foundation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, be it running a church, there is a legal basis.
Yeah.
There is the spiritual aspect, there is also the cultural aspect, and then the legal foundation.
Yes.
So anything that is not cemented legally, it is bound to crash. Yeah. And that's why we find even in the Kenyan Constitution, Article 45 is very precise and focuses on the family. Yes. And that's why it defines that a family is the most key, fundamental unit of the society, is the foundation from which anything in the society should be founded on. And it also defines a marriage as an institution between, and a person has a right to get married to any person of his choice of the opposite gender. Not the same gender.
I would have asked a question. Anybody?
No. As long as you're of age.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is legally.
Yeah, legally.
Yeah.
There must be an intention, a free will, not coercion.
Yes.
And that intention has to be executed by the consent of that party. Because if I don't consent, or if you obtain a consent from me fraudulently, then there'll be no marriage. Okay. Yes, it will just be an association, but no marriage. But the country and the constitution is specific. Male, female.
Okay.
Yes.
But I've also gotten to hear so many instances where you find people have maybe their parents walitafuta, muchumba. Na wakasema lazima uoe this one. Is that constitutionally right?
That one per se, it is like a coerced kind of consent.
Okay.
It can end up being a voidable marriage. So it can be annulled because the consent must be freely given.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
And now let's get to where what we want to start on. That is
Yes.
also very crucial. We get to find that there's so many people who want to get into marriage, and they are they're asking, what is the legal way? What is also the godly way of getting into marriage? So what are the requirements? You've mentioned that it must be the opposite gender, must be of age, but what else should a person check in place as they want to proceed to marriage, and what are the stages to that?
Okay, basically the Kenyan law has defined marriage to be monogamous or polygamous.
By law?
Yes,
Okay.
potentially, because the Marriage Act number 4 of 2014 is very specific that marriage can either be monogamous, polygamous, or potentially polygamous. And that's why it came up with different kinds of marriages. Okay. There is the Christian marriage, there is the Hindu marriage, there is the Islamic, and then there is the customary, whereby Islamic and customary, it is clear it is potentially polygamous.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So somebody needs to decide which direction is taking. But for our case, of course, we are talking concerning the body of Christ.
Yes.
We must be specific, which is Christian marriage. So someone might have been in a marriage and he wants to officialize. What steps will he take?
Yes.
Somebody is not yet married.
So many of us out here.
Yeah. In fact, the best thing, as long as you are of 18 years and above, and you said, I need to get married, then you must look for somebody suitable to you.
Yes, definitely.
And number one, are you sane? Because if you are not sane, a consent, any consent you give,
it's not on a legal matter.
It's not on a legal point.
Yeah.
And also, besides sanity, sometimes there is what is known as temporal insanity. Yes.
Which one is that?
That one is somebody has lucid moments. Today, ako sawa, kesho, inabidi awe kwa daktari. So while giving the consent, what time, at what stage were you giving that consent? Because if you know somebody has a mental illness, of course, that who is not mentally retarded fully, but those lucid moments, it also goes to when was the consent given. Yes.
Awesome.
And now when it comes, once you are in that state, you are ready, you have a free consent, you are exercising your free will, then you can start the stage. You are now ready. You as a person, you are now ready.
You have found the person.
Yes, you've now found the person.
Okay.
If you found the person, the law also recognizes dowry as a token.
Hey.
Yes.
Okay.
And we know very well that each institution, each religious group, each church has the specific requirements. So often we find the church will say, ensure you get the consent of
the
parents.
Yes.
But in the real sense, it is not within the law.
Wait, what?
Yes.
The consent of the parents?
No.
Why not? Why is it not in the law?
Because the law presumes once you are of age, you are not underage, you have a right to make decisions. But I think for the cohesion of a good family foundation, that's why the church insists we need the consent of the family, of the parents.
Okay.
And after that, also your own consent. Once you agree, you get somebody, of course you'll have to go and a notice is issued. A notice indicating your address, what you're doing, where your parents, if they're dead, their certificate, what they were, if they're alive, what their professions, And then the notice, which often you call a ban. In the church, you always call it a ban is being read. Yeah, but that is a legal notice that must be aired out within 21 days or not exceeding 3 months before the official officiating of the wedding or the marriage. So that's the key. And also another thing that is required for a marriage to be valid.
Also, before we go there, where does the person go to get that, the notice? Okay,
the notice often is always put at the registrar's office. Okay. Yes. And that's why when they harmonized the marriage laws, because we had almost 7 acts, so they harmonized it into one act. So one will have to go to, once you clear with the church, they'll tell you, go to the registrar's office, whereby you go there with the photo, you go there with their ID, sometimes they even call for the birth certificate. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, then they put a ban there. So during that period of 21 days to 3 months, if somebody lodges an objection, it has to be heard. Okay. Yes. Okay. Somebody might say, no, I'm lodging an objection. This guy is trying to convert, or this lady is trying to convert this monogamous marriage to be monogamous, and yet we were married. Yeah. So when an objection is lodged during that period, the registrar is mandated within 7 days of lodging to hear the objection, to call parties to hearing, and then within 7 days after hearing, he or she must deliver a verdict. Yeah. And you see now also, that's why like in the church, when you read part 3 of the Marriage Act, provides that the officiating minister will call the people, then he hears the objection within that same set time frame. After hearing the objection is when now, if it is dismissed, the marriage will go on. Okay. If at all the objecting party is satisfied. If the objecting party is not satisfied, Emily, you can be down the the road waiting because it has to go to court. It's my day. It is your day, but now it has gone to court. Yeah. Once it goes to court on appeal, nothing can happen. So what wachunge? Yeah, multiple partners, chunga. Someone can be there to object. And before you enter into any, ask yourself, do a background checkup. Has this person ever been in a marriage? Yes. Because still a polygamous marriage can be converted into a monogamous. Oh. Yeah. You see now, we take an example, you don't have the finances, or you entered into marriage, probably before you got born again. Yes. So, and you went and cleared all the customary issues. Yes. During that state, as long as you haven't officialized it, you are in a customary, potentially polygamous. Hey. So if somebody brings another person, where? You can't take him anywhere. Yeah. Yeah, because it is polygamous, potentially. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's why we need to be very keen. Yes. And that's why I always tell most of the people that even come to me, ask them a question, a very simple question. Have you officialized your marriage? By officializing, have you decided you're making it fully monogamous? So that even if you're born again and you haven't declared you're doing it to be fully, you're making it to be fully monogamous, you still open the door. Okay. Yeah, as per the law. And so there are issues that are coming up with that, because if you have not declared it monogamous, that means does it classify the come we stay as potential polygamous, because that has not been officiated? Now let's ask ourselves. You know, when you say come we stay, per se, it's not always come we stay. Because number one, before you go to stay with that person, you'll discover your parents will say, Emily, unakaa na nani? Sulete mugeni. And you see, in the African custom, the moment you go, you even take your come stay home, they don't go empty-handed.
Yeah, definitely.
When they are going now to report themselves, what always happens? There is a token.
Yes.
Dowry never ends.
Yeah.
So it's a symbol that customarily,
Okay.
it's not per se come we stay,
Yes.
but as a custom, you can't take our daughter, neither can you stay with our son without us knowing you. So bring something. The moment you just take that, it's already it's customary.
Yes.
And it's potentially
Poly.
polygamous.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now after maybe you've had that you notice and you see no one has objected after the
Yes.
3 months. What next after that?
Okay, when no one objects, if it's at the registrar office, he'll give you a date when you go to officialize. Now, like in the church, during that notice, also the banns are going on in the church.
Okay. Yes, the announcements
Are being announced. Is there any objection? Is there any objection?
Yeah.
If there is no objection, then now you go on. You can decide what kind of a wedding you'll or ceremony.
Yeah.
Because I always call it just a mere ceremony. That's why I don't always go for it. It's a mere ceremony.
Pastor.
Yes. No, me I tell people, my friend, the moment you made an intention, you are of age. You have 2 witnesses.
Yes.
What else do you require?
Okay.
I always ask, at what stage is sin sin?
Am I supposed to answer that?
No, that you see now, rhetorically, that's the question I always ask.
Okay.
Because if you define sin to be a thought, as even Jesus said, if you look, if you gaze at a lady in a seductive manner, in a immoral manner, you've committed sin. What does that mean? When does marriage begin?
Okay, if you go down that lane.
So that's what you see now. That's what you're saying. The moment the intention and the free will has been exercised, the ceremony is just always, can say, pleasing human beings, because the law only requires 2 witnesses.
You're good to go.
You're good to go. So I always tell young people, whenever you have gotten a good person, you've gone through the legalities, and you've cleared with the parents, and you have 2 competent witnesses. The witnesses who know what they are doing, not those ones who have been intoxicated. Then, before the registrar, the officiating minister, you go, you sign that certificate.
So even with the ceremony, it's just the certificate that needs to be signed.
Let me tell you.
Pastor, utaki tukule keki.
No, wacha niseme ukweli. Keki inatesa watu wengi sana. You know, I've experienced people going, moving from church to church. Ati harusi pale siwezi make it. Sasa fadhali tuende kwa wazazi. Alafu tutahama, tuende penye tutakubalika. No, me I've seen it. And that's why I always tell people. In fact, most of the young people we've been a best couple for, I always ask them these questions. Have parents agreed? Do you have the consent?
Yeah.
We are the witnesses.
Yes.
What else do you need? The officiating minister. Because legally, for any marriage to be valid, it's only fivefold. The minister, the groom, the bride, the witness number 1,
And
witness number 2.
2.
Fivefold.
And you are done.
You are done.
And let's take a break on that kwa sababu pastor naona pali unatupeleka mchele.
Mchele, it's not a must.
Anyway, let's take a break, but when we come back, we still have so much more to deal on the legalities of marriage.
Yes.
Stay tuned.
Mizpah TV, keeping the fire of the altar burning.
My name is Apostle Moses Kariuki, the Apostle of Honor and a spiritual son of Apostle Jesse Karanja. I'm coming to you to invite you